Monte Morris, according to Shams Charania, but Gambo's been tweeting about him all morning long, so we kind of expected something was going to happen today at the point guard position, especially within the last hour and a half, 90 minutes, 2 hours or so. We expected it was going to come down, and it did. It seemed like it was either going to be Kyle Lowry or Monte Morris, and it is indeed Monte Morris. Shams Charania reporting the Suns have reached an agreement with them, veteran minimum. Obviously, what else can it be? 1 year, $2.8 million. Our own Kellen Olson tweeted out a very rough draft of what the Suns' depth chart might look at. And I'm going to use this as a guide, Scotty, to kind of kickstart the "Are the Phoenix Suns done?" conversation. Now, before I read this off, there are 2 more roster spots that are open. I don't know if we should just assume that Josh Okogie and Damian Lee are going to get them, but both of those guys have opted out of their contracts with the Suns, and it's been reported that the expectation is both will be back. Now, what's taken so long, I have no idea. Are they getting other offers that's making them rethink whether they want to come back? I don't know. But at the time, when they both opted out, it had been reported their intention is to return to the Phoenix Suns. So let's for a second assume that those 2 guys fill the last spots, okay? Point guard, Devin Booker, Monte Morris. Shooting guard, Bradley Beal, Royce O'Neal. Small forward, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, David Roddy. Power forward, Kevin Durant, Bol, Ryan Dunn. Center, Nurkic, Plumlee, Oso Ighodaro. 2-way guys are Jalen Bridges and Gillespie, the guy they just signed yesterday. And then Damian Lee and Josh Okogie coming in as 2 guards, small forwards to kind of fill out that portion of the roster. If that's it, how do you feel about that? Honestly, what's your honest? Okay,
well, listen,
I just presented the Suns roster to you. What do you think about it?
Listen, you got Booker, Beal, and Durant. I'm still, bullish on those 3. Figuring it out. They didn't last year for whatever reason. I'm still high on the big 3. And Nurkic, I thought was better than I knew him to be when he was here. So I'm happy about that. Yesterday, Mitch put together that poll. Way better.
Oh, he was
not
talking,
better
he was talking,
or way worse.
Yeah, he was talking about the center.
The center position. If I had to say the same thing for the overall roster, if we had that same poll for the overall roster, I'd still fall right in there better.
Okay.
I think they're better than they were a year ago now.
The poll, that's a really good idea. And I know Mitch already has a really good poll question out there, but that is, yesterday we asked the question, how do you feel about the center position? Better, way better, worse, way worse. And I think you're right. I think we could take the same question and apply it to the Suns roster.
Eubanks, Watanabe, those dudes that they signed early in free agency in the first 90 minutes a year ago that we were kind of giddy about, maybe too much so.
It's a good word, man. We were giddy about it. We were too giddy about it.
Too giddy about that.
I want
right?
those shows back, Matt, right? Those shows we did last summer, you and I, can I have those shows back?
Yeah.
We were a little too giddy about those guys.
We blew that, but now I kind of feel like they have a better understanding of what they need after having played with the big 3. Like they needed a point guard, they needed another center. Yeah. And I think they addressed both those situations.
I feel better about them. I'm glad you brought up last year because, you and I did a week's worth of shows together when all of that Utah Watanabe, Keita Bates-Diop, Chimezie Metu stuff was coming down. And, man, we tapped the keg of Kool-Aid and we were drinking freely from it. All right,
chugging it.
And we were chugging it. We were doing keg stands from the keg of Kool-Aid about how great the offseason was for the Suns. So I want to be a little more tap the brakes about this one and not get too excited about Monte Morris because there are flaws. I don't want to get too excited about Mason Plumlee. There certainly are flaws. I'll tell you why I feel better, though. I feel better because, and I can't put my finger on exactly why, I feel better about the coach of the Phoenix Suns in 2024 than I did in 2023. I never felt great about Frank Vogel. He wasn't the guy I really wanted. Not that anybody, Yeah, I was about to say the Suns didn't ask my opinion, but if they had, I said, Frank Vogel. I was much more of a Nick Nurse guy, or was
Right, we
certainly,
lost him.
Certainly interested in Ty Lue, but I know he wasn't available. Frank Vogel never felt like the right fit to me. I understood trying to get a defensive-minded guy because you just assumed that offensively you were going to be great. And then, oh, surprise, you actually have to work to be great offensively in this league. It doesn't just happen when you have those three guys. I feel better about the Suns. This roster's fine. It's fine. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the head coach having a better connection with the three best players on this roster. And last year, that connection got lost. It was awful. It was like being out in the middle of nowhere with no bars on your cell phone and you couldn't hear the other person online. This one's got to be like a 5G, full bars. Can you hear me now? Yep. Okay, good kind of connection. And if that's the case, they will be better. They will be a lot better. And it's not because they got Monte Morris or Mason Plumlee. Those guys will help, but it won't be because of that. So, long-winded way of saying, I feel better about this team, but I don't know if I'm like, oh, there goes the next NBA champion basketball team. I don't know if I feel that good about them. In fact, I know I don't feel that good about them.
Burns, you nailed it. Like, I think we talked about it briefly yesterday, that the biggest difference for this team was going to be Coach Bud. And the culture and the chemistry that he can implement in a short period of time through this offseason, visiting with his players that'll be playing USA basketball between Booker and Durant. I know he was at the basketball game on Sunday with Booker. All those kinds of things go a long way to success on the floor.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona Sports.